Hey everyone, yeah, it's Meet Kevin, and I'm wearing a Christmas sweater on January 21st, 7 days, literally a week. I don't even have my watch on, so I don't know why I'm looking here. A week before my birthday, a week before my 31st birthday, and I'm coming to you on sort of a special occasion because it also happens to be the 1-year anniversary of me having made this sort of groundbreaking video that all of a sudden I had changed my mind and I was selling all of my stocks, January 21st of 2022. I wanted to make this video to reveal a few things that I've never revealed before on the channel, and also talk about some hard things, and as well as some plans and some direction for the channel and for you as a viewer. So I wanted to start with this. This is kind of embarrassing. I wanted to start with this letter that I actually wrote about 6.5 years ago. Oh, wow. Actually coming up on 7 years ago. In about a month, it'll be at about 7 years. And it's a letter that I wrote on Facebook to a study abroad group that I was with. And I want to share that experience with you. The letter that I wrote then, and talk to you a little bit about how things are now, and then we'll get into some plans for the future, because I think ultimately everyone's human, and well, things aren't always perfect. So let's take a look at this. So I wrote this February 23rd of 2016. At 11 p.m. Okay, yeah. Anyway. I wrote, and this is crazy, okay? 2016, mind you. This is again almost 7 years ago. That's wild. What am I doing? I wrote. I have some thoughts that I feel I must share with my fellow Parisian travelers. We were all, we were big into writing and trying to be somewhat fancy, but I also tried to be as sincere as possible here. Many of these thoughts have been brewing within me for the last 19 months. That's because 2015 was a particularly hard year. 581 days to be exact. I wrote, money sucks. I don't mean that to sound ostentatious because I don't have much. I mean that to say I feel driven to make more money, beat those on the relativity race, focus on buying bigger things, a better house, a nicer car, a fancier home automation system. Yet, I'm miserable. Waking up early, working extremely long hours just for a bigger number somewhere is rewarding in the short term, but the result of stress and results in more stress. It's sort of ironic, but just sort of as an aside, people are like, oh, you have more stuff. And it's like, yeah, more stuff isn't all it's chalked up to be. The more iPads you have, the more iPads you got to do software updates too, and I'm just saying that as sort of like a generic way. And I know it's nice to have iPads. You can get them for like $329 now, the basic 10.9 inch ones. But yeah, I mean, it's true. The more stuff you have, the more you look around and you're like, there's another battery I have to change. There's something else I have to deal with. There's something else I have to optimize. Oh, wow, you have a plane? Great, now your windshields are broken and you gotta send it in for maintenance, and now you don't have a plane. It's like... Anyway. When I spend 12 hours working in real estate, this was pre-YouTube, keep in mind, right? When I spend 12 hours working in real estate, I follow it up with more hours working on household projects that will better the business and lead to what? More work. I spend more time focusing on budgets and investments, more time reading books on markets and sales. I've always been a big fan of like the macroeconomic cycle. If I'm not 100% focused on work, I'm not being efficient, and then I feel guilty. This could not be more true, by the way. I have 2 children now. I always told myself that I'd spend so much exponentially more time with my children once I had children, but I didn't have to worry about that because I didn't have children, so it was easy to say. In 2 days, I have a 4-year-old that turns 5 and a 7-year-old. And I turned 31. It's been nearly 7 years and I still have not figured out how to actually balance my life. This letter that I'm reading you from 7 years ago, if anything, is more true today than it has ever been before. And it was really true back then. If I'm not 100% focused on work, I'm not being efficient and I feel guilty. Yet the more I work, the less time I spend with family and my then 6-month-old Jack, who, by the way, just rolled over on his own for the first time, and I was at work. I consider you all my YouTube family. I was working 80-hour weeks immediately before our trip. So this is a reference. Okay, let me just be clear here. I was in a history class at UCLA, and don't think I'm like critically smart or something because I went to UCLA and got into a major that had like a 10% admit rate. I figured out the hack. You go to a community college, you get in-state tuition because you support yourself and you prove that to the college system. And as long as you get straight A's, you get a highlighter through your name. And guess what? Wow, they prioritize people from the in-state community college system. So yeah, I got straight A's at the community college, but I didn't get straight A's at UCLA. Anyway, so I'm in this political class and not paying attention, doing work emails because I'm like, this is boring, I'll just read the book. And so I'm sitting there doing work emails, I wasn't paying attention, and these people come in and they provide this presentation. I didn't listen to a single word of it until about their wrap-up line. I'm like, oh good, they're almost done. Okay, what was this all about? And then they're like, so yeah, you can go to Paris and Venice for 3 weeks and get a whole semester, or it was quarter, they were on the quarter system, get a whole quarter of credits. And I'm like, wait a second, can you like rewind everything you just said and start over? Basically, what it was you could go on a summer trip to Paris for 2 weeks and Venice for 1 week, and you get a whole quarter of credits. I'm like, where do I sign? Because anything, again, I could do to optimize my life at that point and spend less time while getting more was a good thing. But what was really remarkable about this, I don't know if I talk about it, I haven't read this in years, but what was remarkable is I went from the most ridiculous real estate schedule ever to where I was begging Lauren to drive me around so I could do my files for real estate transactions because I was doing it all myself, and continue to do more real estate transactions. And so I thought, 3 weeks, okay, abroad, great. My father-in-law offered, he was retired at the time, he said, you know what, I'll try to keep everything afloat for you. I'll answer all the phone calls, the emails. If somebody needs the door unlocked, I'll do it. Set it up perfectly for me. And then when you come back, I'm putting it all back on your desk. And so the cool thing about that was I actually got a taste of what 3 weeks of no work was like. I have not had 3 weeks of no work since 2014, which is when this trip was. Bear in mind, I wrote this post in 2016, so I was reflecting back on 2014, which now is like coming up on 9 years ago, which is when I was 21. Anyway, back into the letter. I consider you all my Parisian family. I was working 80-hour weeks, probably more honestly, before our trip, and right back to 80 hours immediately after our trip. I paid my father-in-law $6,000 to run my entire business while I was gone. Damn, that was a bargain. I hated writing that check. Oh, damn it, Kevin. Today, I wish I had the money to pay someone $6,000 every week for the rest of my life to go back to the style of life we were fortunate enough to taste in Paris. You know what's actually really special about Paris is I actually met Lauren in Paris in 2008. You might not know that, but in 2008, I was on, my dad spent on his credit card. He had no money, took out credit card debt and made the minimum payments to send me on this Europe trip because I begged the crap out of him. And I met Lauren on that trip in Paris on a boat next to the Eiffel Tower on a river. So Paris has a really special place in my heart. So another reason why when I had an opportunity to go to Paris, I'm like, yes. Anyway, we're fortunate enough to taste in Paris. Don't mistake this to mean don't work. My intention is having work in such balance that you can enjoy a museum without having chest pain because of all of the thoughts floating in your head. So much so that when you go to the cardiologist for pain, you can't even focus on the picture in front of you on the treadmill. This is true. This is called a stress test. They make you look at a picture and they try to tell you to relax, and they're like, I don't know, are you dying or are you just having like an anxiety disorder or something? Anyway, see, even when I'm, quote, off work, I'm thinking about work. Yeah, this is still true today. I wake up at, 4 a.m. and it's like the minute the alarm goes off, I go, ooh, I got a lot of stuff to do. And as I'm going to sleep, I'm like, ooh, still got a lot of stuff to do. I laugh, but it's bad. Anyway, the stress doesn't go away. I've tried forcing myself to take Saturdays off. Ooh, that was terrible. That was like the worst time of my life, is taking Saturdays off, because I ended up getting nothing done and I felt like zero accomplishment. I pushed it all off to Sundays. That was bad. But anyway, what do I do Saturdays? I spend the day thinking about what I need to do Sunday. Yep. Or better yet, I work on building my home office so I can be more efficient at work and tell all my potential clients that I have a soundproof, fully automated office. That's actually what I'm in right now. See, somebody asked me the other day, they're like, hey man, like, how did you like blow up in 2020 and 2021? And I told him, I'm like, this sounds cliche. This was actually somebody who paid to shadow me for 2 days in a row. And because this sounds like pompous and ridiculous, but it's true. And it's like extremely stressful. Like, I thought this would reduce stress in my life. It's not. Because my plane is in maintenance for a stupid like heating element repair on the windshield. Fortunately, it should be an under warranty repair. But anyway, it's been in maintenance for like a week, and I'm like, I bought this to make my life easier, and now I'm having to rearrange stuff. It's making my life more stressful. Anyway, somebody shadowed me in person the last couple days, and they're like, hey, Kevin, like, how were you able to work so efficiently in 2020, 21? And I'm like, well, I spent like 6 years before 2020 building a studio and a home office that was exceptionally efficient at producing content quickly, live, whatever we needed to do, which was great during the whole, stimulus and finance boom and era of 2020 and 2021. But yeah, that was actually around the time I was building this, which is weird because I didn't actually make YouTube videos for another 2 years after this point more religiously, which is remarkable because it like shows like, people don't become successful overnight. It takes a lot of prep. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. I'm like, there was a whole lot of luck that went into it too. It's sort of, in my opinion, people like to say, oh, it's when preparation meets opportunity. I like to say it's when preparation meets luck. Anyway, all right. So I continue and I say, look, this may sound so terribly first world problem-esque. Part of me feels selfish venting because I hope that I can inspire myself to find a way to change what I've fallen into. Nope, still haven't figured it out. Part of me wants to share the desire to live the Parisian and Venetian lifestyle. Yeah, dude, I'm jealous, okay? Like, I would wake up at 8 in the morning, find an English newspaper, and have a coffee somewhere on the side of a beautiful Parisian street. It was summer, so the weather was phenomenal. And I'd ride my bike to the grocery store. I didn't own a bike, so I had to get like a city bike, which is fine because you drop it off wherever, at the city bike stations. Anyway, again, I'm not suggesting don't work. I used to think, wow, Paris, nobody works, how lazy. Oh, Italy must be nice. Let's have another cappuccino and not work. Wow, how ignorant I was. Their culture has life, I should say more, figured out. I feel I'm failing. By overworking and leading an unbalanced life, I know now, yet still can't solve my own issues, that I'm simply robbing the days of my youth and donating those to uncertain days of retirement in the future. Ooh, damn. Yeah, that hits deep. I mean, that's basically what you do when you like overwork yourself, right? You're robbing your guaranteed time now for an uncertain future. You could build all this wealth and get hit by a bus tomorrow, and then it's like, well, what the hell? If you didn't enjoy the journey, what the hell, right? Anyway, I think the problem is, quote, or colon, rushing to make more money, having that fancier car, trying to appear successful to others. Oh man, you know the first video that I made on YouTube, in finance YouTube, was because I actually made a video in 2018 reviewing a game. I should have realized how critical YouTube was at that point because the game developers called me. It only got like 5,000 views, but it was on Heroes of Talara. You could actually still find it. You probably type into YouTube, Meet Kevin. No, it probably wouldn't have been under Meet Kevin. Just type in Heroes of Talara review on YouTube, you'll probably find it. You'll see Kevin like 15 years ago, so I would have been like 16. But anyway, my first video in 2017 on finance was talking about the toxicity of relativity, comparing yourself to other people. Anyway, so I write, who cares? True. What I want is experiences with those I care about. That's probably R, but anyway. I want to share feelings, emotions, stories, and opportunities with family, friends, and peers. Real estate is great. I worked over 50 clients last year. Sadly, I would have rather worked with 5 and lived in a modest bungalow with my family. The problem I feel? Greed. I feel some almost innate urge to keep going, to basically look more impressive and seem more impressive, right? To keep booking appointments over lunch plans with family, to cancel trips, to forego outings with Jack in favor of getting that new client. Clients pat me on the back and say, keep it up, you're great. No, I'm not. And I shouldn't. Leaving Paris and Venice already 581 days ago, wow, is the memory I keep going back to. I directly feel the most difficult transition ever. Going from a ridiculous amount of work with no lifetime to a modest amount of work, our classwork while abroad, that was like nothing, and plenty of lifetime, to a ridiculous amount of work again, right? That was that transition I talked to you about my father-in-law, he's retired, taking over during that window. I'll never forget coming back and him being like, here you go. And I'm like, no, this is not the life I want to go back to. Here I am, almost 8 years later, still doing the same thing. Yet, when I visit our group page, I see the ultimate reminder of why I'm failing. Ron is, oh shit, I forgot about this. One of our members passed away. This is a small group, mind you, okay? This was a small group of folks. And I don't think it's necessary to point out, but one of these people is no longer here. And I wrote that in 2016. Holy smokes. Okay. Anyway, wow. Let's keep going here. Ron is no longer with us. Why am I subjecting myself to be a slave for a larger number when my days as well are limited? When I realize that Aristotle's mean, that's average, is what's important, balance, not the extreme. Eudaimonia is the good life, the balance, not the extreme. Perhaps my problem is I really want to do great things. See, and this is a problem I've always realized, is I've always wanted to do great things. Yet I wish I could resign myself to enjoy great things rather than trying to be great. How sad that I even feel I would have to resign myself for that. That should be the only goal I should have. Yeah, I mean, there's a joke that Julius Caesar, think about this for a moment, okay? Julius Caesar looked at Alexander the Great and said, I want to be him. I'm not good enough. I must be like him. And Alexander the Great is like, I'm better than Caesar. But then behind closed doors, he's like, but damn, there's this guy named God who's better than me, and I must be better than him. I must be more revered. And it just makes you think, like, that's so ridiculous. It's like ludicrous, right? I wish you all the greatest success. This should not be considered living in the past or missing college. This is a realization that a relatively inexpensive trip to Europe made me happier than I've been at any point in the last 9 years. This is not how life should be. Why is it not Jack's birth or some of his first or birthdays or vacations or Christmas or anniversaries? The toxicity that a relentless pursuit of more creates is why. And then I put some pictures over here. This was a particularly fun one, by the way, because I was at a France versus Germany soccer game, a football game, as they say. And I'm hiding my German Reisepass because the Germans were not very popular there, so I was hiding that. Anyway, yeah, this is a big deal. And I have to say, the last... certainly 2 or 3 years, I feel as though I've been continuously adding maximum stress to my plate. I've lost best friends. I've made mistakes both personally and professionally, and though through these mistakes and the stress of trying to continue to grow, I've struggled through sleepless nights and very difficult decision making. So, I've tried almost every single day to post value totally for free on the channel. Obviously, many of you know that I make money. I sell programs on building your wealth. Yeah, okay, there's a coupon code expiring January 30th. And it'll be the best price that we have for bare minimum the next multiple months. Because that's a promise I'm making. It's actually a promise. You'll learn about that in a moment, but I have a plan coming up for improving the channel. But anyway, I ran for governor. I launched househack. I launched an ETF. I bought a plane. I rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Actually, I really enjoy this jacket. The New York Stock Exchange vest, I should say. I think it's really cool. All these things are really cool. They don't necessarily make you happy. They can be kind of hellish on the inside. I struggle maintaining friendships, time with family, balancing time with kids, worrying about the safety of our family, trying to optimize businesses while getting hate mailed to you and your car tires slashed on your Tesla to where you have to remove the face from the side of your Tesla because you're the target of hate. I'm not trying to be here and be like, oh, woe is me. It's like, dude, I brought this on myself, okay? I've done things well, I've done things poorly. It's more to say that, a lot of people in life, CEOs, people like Elon Musk, they go through life and they're like, damn, you don't want to kind of wish always working on anyone else. It's kind of like Elon Musk says he has a hard time switching his brain off and he's not sure anybody else would want to be in his position. And by no means am I comparing myself to him, that'd be crazy. But it's like, I used to roll my eyes when people would say they had anxiety. And say things like, oh, the only peace in life is when you're asleep. And now I'm like, it's kind of true. It's like the only peaceful time is when you're sleeping, when you kind of try to turn it off at least. So this isn't supposed to be like sad or make you feel bad or whatever. It's just to say that everybody goes through difficult times, right? And I feel like I kind of haven't figured out how to get out of that sort of time for the last long time. And so I made a goal. I have a plan because I think one of the things that is best that you do is you acknowledge the issues that you have and then you do your best to improve them. And one of the things that I've realized is you can't do it all yourself. And you gotta have people to talk to. I've never valued talking to other people or really building a team. Honestly, probably up to a month or two ago. Honestly, you know what it was? It was ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It was the opportunity of a lifetime to push that button 15 seconds before the closing bell, and then picking up that gavel that, not a lot of people have held, and hitting it to mark the closing bell. To me, that gavel represented a change. And it's one that I've been so terribly grateful of over just the last couple of months here. But it's one that I've never been used to. And it's actually investing in people. In 2020, 2021, I pretty much did everything myself. In 2015, I did everything myself. Before 2015, I did everything myself. Most of the time, it's always just been me. And I've come to realize that the best thing that I could do is hope to create the best possible work environment for coworkers. and for a team, and to make sure that I'm doing everything I can in my power to make them have the best opportunities. Because if I can make them have the best opportunities and the best success, I believe the companies succeed. All of the companies win. If they win, the companies win. And I have committed, because I have no idea how deep this recession is going to go. So I have committed all of my net worth, because I feel that net worth and money is just an object, and it's not a factor of happiness beyond paying the bills. I've committed all of my net worth, whatever that may be at any given day, given real estate or stock fluctuations or whatever. I've committed everything to the idea of building out the best possible teams ever. And that's actually been really freeing to me, because it's made me feel very happy about the idea of paying 3 incredibly intelligent interns, paying one of the most hardest working investor relations people ever, paying one of the most diligent and creative CPAs ever, paying the bookkeeper who grinds more than anybody else I've seen someone grind, the videographer who gets it, gets advice and insights and adapts, the compliance officer who rolls with the punches, the chief operating officer who literally does whatever the hell I need help with, to the 4 construction and property management team members who are like, let's go, let's grow. You know, I've gone from a team of no one to quite a large team. And I bear the cost of the entire team right now. At least up to this moment, you know, my startup, for example, househack, hasn't been billed a dime for anyone on my team, because we're not really operating yet. I mean, there's some expenses, obviously, that househack is paying, but I'll do a househack update in a moment. But I'm committing to people, and I think that's probably one of the most important things that I can do going forward, to make sure that I could streamline the value that I could provide at all of the different directions that I'm being pulled in. So I think the easiest thing to do at this point is just provide a little bit of insight into the different directions that I'm being pulled into and the plans that I have, because I've kind of committed to going all in. I bought a plane that cost me about $5,500 a day, whether I use it or not. And that's me personally. You know, I signed up for that. Not my startups. I did. Okay, I'm taking that risk. And it's not because I want to go, you know, oh, look at me sipping my Mai Tai while I'm flying my private jet. Honestly, I think if you made it this far in the video, you're like, yeah, no, that ain't Kevin. Like, Kevin's gonna be working. Maybe he'll work and at the end of the day have a Mai Tai, but he's working all the time. It's like a curse. I don't wish it on anyone. But yeah, I right now as an individual, and I talked with course members about this the other day, because I do these sort of casual course member live streams every day the market is open. You get lifetime access to those, by the way, if you join before January 30th. But anyway, you know, I talked about how my daily cash burn right now is about $12,600 a day. That has nothing to do with househack, okay? Househack right now is cash flow positive, like $70,000 a month. It's great. This is stuff that I've signed up for. But anyway, let me go through sort of my plan. So, YouTube plan. YouTube plan is the following. I have come to realize some of my shortcomings, and I have read a lot of your feedback in the last few days about long versus shorter content, like medium length content, you know, 40-minute videos versus, say, 15, 20-minute videos. I've done a lot of studying about short form content, whether that's TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts or whatever. And I have a plan. My plan is every day, probably starting Monday the 23rd, which is actually Max's 5th birthday. Starting Monday the 23rd, every day, I plan to consistently, and this is my promise, you know, hopefully I don't flip-flop again, but for as long as possible to post a live stream video every day starting at 4:45 or 5, right around that window, 4:45 to 5 a.m. Pacific time. And that live stream video will be the culmination of almost all of my content for the day. I'd say about 90% of the content for the day. And this is a strategy that I hope will work well because it will give the viewer what I think is very beneficial. It will give you the opportunity to essentially podcast my content between the hours of now Eastern, 7:45 a.m. to about 9 a.m. Eastern time, California time, 4:45 to about 6 a.m. And you can sort of podcast my entire content for the day. News, politics, crypto, memes, the sticks, the charts, the 5-year break-evens, treasuries, my opinions, my reactions, again, politics, crypto, real estate, stocks, all of that, right? And what we'll do is we will chop that up into various different, probably, core content segments of 15 to 25 minutes. So, for example, if I have a Tesla segment or a Dixie short segment or a globalization segment or a debt ceiling segment, we'll post those separately later in the day. Maybe 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., whatever. But what I'll do is I'll number the podcasts. So that way, people who want to see the podcast will just see Meet Kevin Report, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, right? And we'll put a date on there probably as well. So that way you could just watch the podcasts on the date they're done. It's kind of like podcasting my content. And if you just want to watch specific shorter videos, well, those will be chopped up later in the rest of the day. And there will be times where there will be unique content that won't be in the podcast that'll be posted in the rest of the day. But we're going to try this. And I think that'll be the best of both, where if you just want to play Meet Kevin and it's, an hour, 15-minute video, you could do that. You want to hop over and switch to the course member live stream at 6 a.m., you kind of just want to listen to that passively, great, you could do that as well. Then you get a lot of Meet Kevin content altogether. If you just want to watch the specific information on one topic, great, we'll have that for you as well. And I plan to do that every day, Monday through Sunday. So that is a plan that I have. And then house hack. We have some, throughout the day, I will be researching content and the early morning hours. I'll be researching content for that longer video in the morning. So much of the day when I'm traveling or driving somewhere, somebody else driving, or it's the evening or whatever, all of that content ideally will be condensed into that morning live stream. And that will then free me to team build. I'll be able to work with the team, work on research together, but also work for househack. Because in the last 2 or 3 days for househack, which keep in mind all of the money is invested in treasuries, I think I almost timed the top of the market for treasuries perfectly, which is excellent because the yield we're getting is great. This is not to be confused with like buying a stock at the top of the market. This is to be like timing the top of the yields at the top, which is what you want. We're getting somewhere around 4.25% net yield on the money that we invested with househack while we wait to buy real estate. And, now it'd probably be closer to 3.5, maybe 3.6, 3.7% with the blended portfolio that we have laddered. But anyway, my plan is to really go very deep in househack because we have an insane plan for househack. Insane. We have actually come up with an extremely, what we believe, I can't guarantee this obviously, but profitable way, extremely profitable. Again, no guarantees. No guarantees, okay? I want to make this very clear. This is just a vision. This is just a plan. But we believe we have come up with an extremely profitable way to compete with CrowdStreet, Fundrise, Invitation Homes, Zillow, and Redfin, like no real estate company has ever competed before. We expect to allow accredited investors come probably March or April. I don't think February is going to happen, but probably March or April. It's going to be a combination of technology, the likes of which we have not presented before, and real estate. And we are extremely bullish on what we're about to present. But it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of investment. And there's a reason I'm personally signing on the debt for a plane. None of the househack money was used for the plane. Househack has paid $0 for the plane. I just want to be very clear about that. Ultimately, my view is that I want to make sure that house hack investors look at their house hack investment and they're like, wow, can I do another deal with Meet Kevin? Like I'm building a reputation. I'm about to turn 31. If I want to do Wall Street and investing for the next 30, 40, 50 years, as long as I may live, I need to do the right thing. So we've got some really incredible announcements, but they're going to take a lot of work. And I think scheduling my YouTube out this way and providing this value to you live in the mornings will be very, very important and very useful. And it'll also be very interactive because those of you who do pay to be a member here, my goal is to integrate your commentary into my videos as well. And so that'll be very, very cool. It's only like $4.99 or whatever to be a member here. Not to be confused with the course membership, which is different. But anyway. I also have big plans for actually building out in the future some form of investment advisory business. I'm a licensed financial advisor. I plan to be able to send for various different exchange-traded funds, ETFs, buy and sell alerts for free, publish research and news for free. These are all plans that are in progress. Not ones that I really want to mention here, because they're still being worked on. But I believe that narrowing my YouTube focus down into basically the morning, so I'll probably wake up around 3 a.m. and work YouTube until about 7 a.m. Keep in mind, I'll still be doing research throughout the day with my team, but a lot of that research will be investment advisor focused and house hack focused. But a lot of that research we do for those businesses, which a lot of it involves macro and stock analysis, will be incorporated into what I consolidate at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I believe strongly I can build all three of these businesses very, very, very well. So I'm very excited about that. But it does mean I'm investing massively money and time into these businesses and taking huge risk building team and whatever else. So I believe I have a plan. I think it's a good plan. But I really want to provide you a little bit of advice before I go, because there's nothing that I honor more than the people who watch me here, and I sincerely owe you a massive thank you. I am, I'm just a dude on YouTube. As much as it seems like, but you have a plane, you have an ETF, you got a team, you got this, or you got money or that or whatever. I really feel like I could sit down with all of y'all and have a glass of wine or beer or drink a coffee, I don't know, whatever you're into, or water, or what. You want to go Topo Chico, it's fine with me. It's, I wouldn't wish all of this madness on anyone, but I'm very excited about it. And even though this video probably has a little bit of a down tilt to it, I want you to know I'm extremely optimistic. But I do want to share that, for those of you who have ever been in pain or feeling pain right now, don't give up. Have someone to talk to. Find someone to talk to. Anyone. And the most important thing you could do is make a plan and then take baby steps towards that plan. This happens to be a baby step for me. So, to all the clowns and flip-floppers, which I am honored to be a part of, I truly believe that all of us are going through this journey just trying to do our best with the information we have available to us. And I think that's all we can expect of each other. So with that said, thank you. And we'll see you Monday.